Okay, political ideology. Political ideology is a little different from socialization. Socialization, remember, is a process. You become knowledgeable about politics, and it's the development of your political opinions. Your political opinion is your ideology. Okay, so ideology is a set of beliefs about politics, public policy, and the purpose of government. It is how you believe the government should function and what the government should or should not do regarding public policy. It is a lens, so like glasses, through which you have a view of the role of government. Up here is the political spectrum. Okay, so that's our spectrum, and you'll see communism is to the far left, fascist, which is like Hitler, complete government control, that's to your right. And where we are in America, we're kind of not so much on those fringes, right? So we have liberal and we have conservative. So that's our political spectrum, and those are the different places or different place where you will find our ideologies on the political spectrum. I'm going to start by talking about conservatism. Maybe. Okay. There we go. Okay. So conservatives, they are the right wing. So here you go. The right of the political spectrum. Pretty straightforward. Often associated with the color red. Okay, right wing, red, conservative. Now I'm going to talk about the different political ideologies in three different categories. Their ideas of how the government should be involved in the economy, their ideas on how the government should be involved in social policy, and their ideas of how the government should be involved in foreign policy. Okay, economy. Conservatives believe in the idea of laissez-faire. And laissez-faire, you might remember from World History 2, because it is a term that you learned in World History 2 that means hands off. The government should not be involved in economic activity. The government should take a hands-off approach. Conservatives believe that we should favor a free market approach to economic activity, meaning consumers will drive prices, workers will drive quantity produced, and that you don't need government regulation because companies will do what's best to make a profit and to please their customers and their workers. They, of course, then conservatives would believe that you don't need high taxes, you want to keep spending low, like government spending low on programs and government regulation low. So government doesn't need to tell businesses they need to clean up pollution. Government doesn't need to tell businesses they need to pay their workers a minimum wage. Government doesn't need to tell businesses how to treat their employees. Okay. So that is economics. Hands off, taxes low, and keep government spending and regulation at a minimum. Social policy. Social policy to a conservative should reflect very traditional family values, one man, one woman marriage. Part of keeping that traditional family value is to uphold religion in society. A lot of conservatives believe in the right to life, or they're anti-abortion. They would be supportive of prayer in school. Also, conservatives believe in the idea of strong punishment for criminals. So here you see the word coddling. Coddling means like holding a criminal's hand or spending time on like rehabilitating criminals instead of providing retribution or punishment for actions. Okay, active role in when it comes to foreign policy. Conservatives believe we should take an active role in promoting national security. And whereas conservatives believe that we don't need to spend a lot of money on business, and we don't need to spend a lot of money on social policy, we don't need to spend a lot of money on economic activity, where we need to spend money is on defense. The true role of government, according to a conservative, is to protect national security. Now, the reason you want to protect national security is because you need to make this country a safe place to raise your family, and you need to make this a safe place to have economic activity. So if the government is going to spend any money, it needs to be maintaining peace through strength and supporting military intervention in crises, making sure that we are protected first and foremost. Okay, liberals. I tried to pick images that were critical of liberals and critical of conservatives alike. So take a look at those. They're stereotypes. These images are stereotypes of what people think about liberals and conservatives. Okay, liberals, economically, there should be an active role for government intervention in economic equality. Okay, liberals are going to view the government as a regulator, as far as making sure the government protects the public interest, making sure businesses treat their customers right, treat the environment right, treat their employees right. Liberals would like to see the rich taxed more. And the reason they want to see the rich taxed more is so we can provide economic equality through entitlement programs. An entitlement program is a payment that the federal government makes to a group of people who are entitled to get that payment. And you are entitled for a couple of different reasons, but the two typical reasons are you are poor or you are old. Okay, so you tax the wealthy so you can pay for these entitlement programs. Now, two entitlement programs that you are probably most familiar with are food stamps and welfare. So you take a little bit of taxes from the people who make more than enough money, then we pay for these government programs, and that will create an economic equality. Also, we need business regulations like minimum wage, so businesses aren't just worried about profit, but they're also thinking about their workers. All right, support social policy that adapts to changing lifestyles. Yes, that is liberals' idea of a good social policy agenda. People change, the way of life changes, and government should change with that. We should be progressive and embrace change. Part of that would be like abortion, supporting freedom of choice. Prayer in school shouldn't be allowed. You should oppose imposition of religion on the people, and a good way to fight crime is to end a cycle of poverty and give people hope instead of punishing criminals. Well, it's not that they don't want to punish criminals, but it's instead of harshly punishing criminals, maybe you should rehabilitate them more. In foreign policy, liberals are going to promote diplomacy, talking instead of going to war with our enemies, and they're very much less willing to commit troops to action, and they're also much less willing to spend money on war or military. They'd like to see more spending on the entitlement programs. Moderates. Moderates are where most people are on the political spectrum. So here's your political spectrum. You got your liberals to the left, your conservatives to your right, Your moderates are right here in smack dab the middle. So if you are a politician, smack dab in the middle is exactly where you want to be, because you want to be attracting most of these voters. Okay. So moderate means you fall between liberal and conservative. Most people are moderate. Most people are tolerant of both ideologies, and most people are like me. You like a little bit from the left and a little bit from the right. And it also depends on where you are in life, because if you are younger, you might be more progressive with your social ideas and your social agenda, but when you get older, you might be more conservative when it comes to your economic agenda, because you don't want to be taxed. 70% of American voters are moderate. Okay. So politicians appeal to the moderates because most people are there, and they want to be where most, oh, come on, I didn't mean a line. They want to be, oh, sorry guys. They want to be where 70% of the American voters are. Okay, and when you watch an election, you're going back to that political spectrum, you know, at the beginning, during primary season, and you'll learn more about primary season, I promise, but during the primary season, your politicians are more toward the edges of the political spectrum. Okay, and then as the general election comes around, your politicians move more toward the center, because they're trying to get the attention of most of the voters who are moderate.